Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway. Their pharmacists are here to help you and your family stay protected, offering a wide range of vaccines, including flu shots and COVID-19 boosters. Stop into the store or schedule online at safeway.com/pharmacy. Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.
Welcome back from the long weekend. Like you, if you're returning to work today, your Congress members will also be back at it. Our reporter in Washington says they now have about a month to figure out how to avoid a government shutdown. We'll tell you what else you need to know as we kick off September. I'm Bazi Kanani. Coming up, Colorado is in a race to expand wind, solar, and battery storage.
Typically, the approval and construction process for new power projects takes years.
But Xcel and the governor are trying to do it in months. They say it'll save you money if they can pull it off. Then, a school bathroom in Denver is under federal scrutiny.
The student reported feeling very uncomfortable and that her privacy and her rights had just been taken away.
But the school district is pushing back hard on an investigation it says was done with a political agenda. Plus, your Colorado Wonders question about an iconic hot spring.
So this is where everything happens to make that water look nice and blue and clear and safe for people to swim in.
It's Tuesday, September 2nd. Here's the news in Colorado today. Colorado is scrambling to get clean energy projects off the ground before the federal government shuts the door on tax credits. The extent to which Governor Jared Polis and Xcel Energy are successful at that could impact your electricity bill. CPR climate reporter Ishan Thakur is here to help us figure out how the governor plans to pull it off. Ishan, what are the governor and Xcel trying to make happen quickly here?
So they want to greenlight the construction of up to 4,000 megawatts of projects that use a mix of wind, solar, and battery storage, plus a smaller amount of power from fossil fuels. That's because about a month ago, Polis urged state agencies to move fast so that new power plants are under construction before federal tax credits expire. So now 3 state agencies are racing to make that happen.
4,000 megawatts. Is that a lot?
So by some estimates, it's enough to supply power to more than 100,000 homes every year. But it's a far cry from the total amount of new electricity Xcel estimates it'll need over the next decade.
And we're at a moment where we need to be accelerating the resources that we bring to the grid.
That's Will Torr. He's the head of Colorado's energy office, and they help implement statewide climate policies. Xcel is by far the state's biggest utility, and they're depending on renewable energy to keep up with increased demand from things like data centers and electric vehicles. And on top of that, the state has these legally mandated targets to hit in the coming years, and those requirements are to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2050.
Back to the governor's mad dash. How much time does he have to try to get these projects going?
So the governor's made clear that he wants state utility regulators to move really quickly to approve new renewable projects, and he said the state would remove barriers to do so. That's because federal tax credits for wind and solar projects expire in December 2027. Killing off those credits was a huge priority for President Trump, even though wind and solar projects are generally cheaper and faster to build out than adding new fossil fuel plants to the grid.
December 2027 can seem like a long way off. How is this a rush?
It's because typically the approval and construction process for new power projects takes years. That's because they have to be approved by the Public Utilities Commission, or PUC. That's a group of independent regulators who make decisions about our energy grid, and they try to reduce costs for the state and consumers. So under normal circumstances, a handful of new power projects proposed today wouldn't make it through the PUC in time to qualify for these new tax credits. So that's what we're waiting to find out now. Will the state's PUC fast-track their timeline for a small selection of renewable projects?
And when will we know that?
So we'll know pretty soon. If regulators agree, then Xcel will start collecting bids in September from clean energy developers to build new solar and wind projects. Then we should know by February of next year whether some of those bids are greenlit. The new wind and solar projects must start construction by next July or be fully completed by December 2027 to access the federal credits. Otherwise, those projects will cost a lot more, and Coloradans will pay for them in the form of higher energy bills.
Nobody wants to do that. CPR climate reporter Ishan Thakur. Thanks, Ishan.
You're welcome.
A high school bathroom in Denver is in violation of federal law, according to the Trump administration, and as a result, the entire school district could lose its federal funding. The district was given 10 days to respond or face consequences. CPR's Jenny Brandine has more on this story. Jenny, how did the controversy over this bathroom start?
So last December, East High School converted one of its girls' bathrooms into a restroom for all genders. Now, students had asked for it. This was a student-initiated idea. The bathroom has several stalls, and it has 12-foot partitions to provide a lot of privacy. The district has a policy to provide students the right to use facilities that align with the gender that they consistently express at school. Then, just about a month later in January, after seeing a news story about this, the Trump administration started investigating this bathroom and the broader policy supporting LGBTQ students. It was really one of the first actions of the new Trump administration directed at schools as part of its promise to eradicate quote-unquote woke ideology.
So this is the politics of a culture war then. What specifically did the Trump administration take issue with? How is an all-gender bathroom against the law?
They were investigating whether East High and Denver Public Schools more broadly violated Title IX. You might know Title IX best as the federal law that's led to this huge expansion of opportunities for girls to get into sports. But the Trump administration said the conversion to an all-gender bathroom might amount to discrimination against girls. And in just the past few days, the Federal Office of Civil Rights put out its finding, and it concluded the bathroom does violate the prohibition on sex discrimination, since boys have their own bathroom on that floor of the school, but now girls do not. Just recently, East High tried to preemptively fight that argument by converting the boys' room to an all-gender bathroom as well. But the Trump administration found the bathroom changes still allows males to, quote, invade sensitive female-only facilities.
Did students at the school report any issues after the girls' bathroom became all-gender?
Originally, yes. One parent complained at a school board meeting. Then the Federal Office of Civil Rights says during its investigation, it did get several complaints from students and parents. A female student said that when her friend used the restroom, quote, boys kept staring at her, looking her up and down, kind of taunting her, unquote. The student reported feeling very uncomfortable and that her privacy and her rights had just been taken away after male students began using the restroom. That's according to the federal government report.
What steps is the administration now demanding the school district take?
The district is in the midst of a 10-day period when they are being told to change the bathroom back to girls and boys in separate spaces and ensure that other schools in the district have separate restrooms. It goes beyond that, too. The Federal Office of Civil Rights wants Denver Public Schools to change their policy and stop allowing students to use any private spaces based on their gender identities rather than their biological sexes. But Denver Public Schools is pushing back hard. They say the feds have shifted their legal reasoning for objecting to the bathroom. The school district also questions the thoroughness of the investigation. They claim the feds didn't actually talk to people at the school, and they're reasserting the district's support for LGBTQ people. In a statement, the school district said to the community, quote, "We will not stand for these attempts at your erasure."
How does this get resolved then?
The Office of Civil Rights wasn't totally clear on what the consequences would be if DPS does not fully comply, but they did say the district is not allowed to take federal money if it continues its policies. I suspect we'll find out around the end of this week or early next week. The Federal Department of Education has used this same tactic, threatening sanctions in other school districts across the nation.
CPR education reporter Jenny Brandine, thank you. Have you ever been to Glenwood Springs and taken a dip in its famous hot springs pools? You probably know that the heat is natural, but CPR's Elaine Tassi found there's still a lot of work to do to get them ready for you to soak or swim in. Tassi, for those who haven't been there, can you describe the hot springs pools?
Yes, so there's two places that I went to, both of which are off of I-70. And the first one that we visited was Glenwood Springs Resort, which has a giant swimming pool. It's way larger than an Olympic-sized pool. That particular hot springs is very popular with families. They have like 1,500 people who might come in any given day. And then we also visited Iron Mountain Hot Springs. That one is a little bit more geared towards adults. It's a little bit more laid back and quiet there.
Sounds great, and like a pretty good reporting assignment.
Hey, well, I can't complain about that one, Bozzy. So this started with a question from a listener. Somebody wrote in and asked us if we could go out there and find out more about the filtration systems. They wanted to know, how do the pools stay clean? What happens to the water to make it such that people can go ahead and sit in it and luxuriate and enjoy it?
And what did you find out?
So we found out that every day, approximately 3.5 million gallons of water flows up from underground. And it flows up at a temperature that's too hot. And it also comes in with a slightly green tint. The first place that I went to was Glenwood Springs. I met pool maintenance manager Brian Ammerman. And so he and I talked in the filtration room. It's tucked in an enclosed room that's pretty dark. It hums from all the activity in there. And it's set up in a kind of an inconspicuous way so as not to distract the guests.
And this is where our sand filters are. All the pumps, where we mix everything up, happens all in this room.
What's happening, Bozzy, is that they push the water through the sand to sort out most of the bad stuff. And that could be both stuff that would be in the water and then also stuff that may come off of the skin of people who have been sitting in the water because they recycle it through over and over again. After they go through the sand process of filtration, they also have a second step where it's filtered again with ozone gas,
which is a very strong oxidizer. So it takes out any of the bad stuff we don't want in the water. It zaps it and makes it totally clear and clean. For pool maintenance, we have 12 full-time employees.
What all are they doing all day?
They're checking water, checking chemistry, checking filters, differentials, walking through all the equipment rooms, making sure things are running 24/7.
Now, Tassi, you mentioned the two different resorts that you were able to check out in Glenwood. What did you find at the other one?
So Iron Mountain Hot Springs, their system is similar, but it has some different components. They use a type of recycled crushed glass, and that is also a substance that looks like sand, and the size of the particles cause anything that's in the unfiltered water to get trapped in such a way that it doesn't necessarily exhaust the recycled glass. And so therefore it lasts a little bit longer than just regular sand. And so it saves Iron Mountain some money because they can use it for a little bit longer.
Crushed glass to clean the water.
Yep.
I have a whole new appreciation for all the work behind our hot springs.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, Tassi.
Thanks for having me, Bozzy. Good to talk to you.
Thanks for listening and for your support of independent local news. You can make a donation at the link in our show notes. Also, be sure to follow Colorado Today in your podcast app. I'm Bozzy Kanani. This is CPR News.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org. Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway. Their pharmacists are here to help you and your family stay protected, offering a wide range of vaccines, including flu shots and COVID-19 boosters. Stop into the store or schedule online at safeway.com/pharmacy.